go to study the particulars of unquestioning propaganda? I would need mentorship.
We're in Moscow tonight. We're here to interview the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin.
Saints be praised.
Oh my god, this guy with this shit. And it seems he doesn't have a mic that works either. Here we fucking go with this shit.
Professor! Tell me, what is step one in delivering world-class fealty to power?
Here's why we're doing it. First, because it's our job. We're in journalism.
Lie about what your job is.
Okay, dumbass, he is in journalism, and he's not lying because he described libs of TikTok as being in journalism simply for reposting other people's videos. Being in journalism just means you're delivering information to the public with or without a license, and Tucker is better than most at doing it, very much including you, by the way, dumbass. Also, remember when you made fun of him for having a bow tie? Because only elites do that, right? And you were calling his bluff from the clothes he was wearing. You could smell it. Yeah, great comedian you are. Here you fucking are with this thing around your neck like the partisan hack you are. Great, yeah, fucking hilarious, dude.
How old are you?
35.
And you wear a bow tie.
Yeah, I do. It's our job. We're in journalism.
Lie about what your job is.
We're in journalism. Our duty is to inform people.
Lie about what your duty is.
Okay, at this point, there's really the first joke he's thrown at Tucker that he's not a journalist, despite being in journalism. Joke's sort of on the guy with a tie who doesn't know the English language but thinks he's smart because those aren't easy to tie, whatever. Yeah, thing is, he's already made this joke twice, and it's not even funny. Look at me, I'm stupid. I just said that like 3 seconds ago, but yeah, I forgot about that. Big funny, dude. Great funny.
Just out of curiosity, as a student, when you're sitting there interviewing Putin and you don't plan to challenge his utter bullshit, but you don't want to really be that obvious, what do you do with your face? Oh, I see. Okay, so it's not really a straight face as much as you try to convey a mixture of what appears to be shame, arousal, and I'm going to say irregularity. For instance, like you're constipated while jerking off to a Sears catalog.
Dude, Leafy does this shit better than you. You just make fun of his face. Great, he's just sucking up to power. Yeah, except that everyone's been criticizing him for that Putin interview. Last time he tried to do it, the people in power legit dox his information to try to make it not happen. He told you that. If you had been listening, you know, you should try to learn from him. But unironically, your show might stop sucking ass if you did that. It is a comedy show. If this is comedy, if this is 7 million views worth of comedy, I could be funny. You could be funny. If this guy makes weird faces for his audience to laugh at while making fun of someone else for making weird faces, and that's humor, dude, that's the talent I need to become like you? Are you fucking kidding me?
Now, obviously, Tucker's strategy is going to work when there's some ambiguity in what Putin says. But what if Putin starts saying shit like, World War II was Poland's fault because they forced Hitler to invade them? I mean, what do you do with something like that? That's going to be hard.
After World War I, this territory was transferred to Poland, and instead of Danzig, a city of Dansk emerged. Hitler asked them to give it amicably, but they refused.
Of course.
Yeah, so I watched this segment because clearly he just saw the clip and thought, bro, that looks like an own. I fucking got him with this shit. So basically, Putin, throughout most of the interview, it seems, was just trying to give some history lesson because he thinks the context makes his case or whatever. But they spent like the bulk of the interview talking about just shit that was happening at the time. And Jon Stewart's sort of saying here, oh damn, Putin actually said it was all Poland's fault that World War II started, because they disobeyed Hitler, and then Tucker's just got an end to say to that. Like, it's just, what the fuck, am I right? No, that's not what happened. Much as I hate Putin, and I wish Tucker had just strangled him in that interview, I would've, but you do realize that Putin's sort of using the excuse that Ukrainians are Nazis for why he's invading them, like that in NATO. So I mean, the guy's smart, despite being a jackass who deserves zero respect. You really think he's going to go on here and tell America he invaded a place because he hates Nazis? But if only people obeyed Hitler, things would have been so much better? You're so full of shit. So let's see that in full context, shall we?
In 1921, peace with Poland was proclaimed, and under that treaty, the right bank of Dnieper River once again was given back to Poland. In 1939, after Poland cooperated with Hitler, it did collaborate with Hitler, you know? Hitler offered Poland peace and a treaty of friendship and alliance, demanding in return that Poland give back to Germany the so-called Danzig corridor, which connected the bulk of Germany with East Prussia and Königsberg. After World War I, this territory was transferred to Poland, and instead of Danzig, a city of Gdansk emerged. Hitler asked them to give it amicably, but they refused.
Of course.
Still, they collaborated with Hitler and engaged together in the partitioning of Czechoslovakia.
But may I ask you, you're making the case that Ukraine, certainly parts of Ukraine, Eastern Ukraine, is in effect Russia has been for hundreds of years. Why wouldn't you just take it when you became president 24 years ago? You have nuclear weapons, they don't. If it's actually your land, why did you wait so long?
Oh, so that's right. Putin was saying, yeah, you know Poland? Pretty bad. Why? Well, you know they were working with Hitler? Pretty bad, right? John, you following so far? Yeah, so he was just explaining that Hitler and Poland were on the same side, and the only reason he was bringing all that up was because, remember, the question was, why did you invade Ukraine? No clue where Johnny Boy got lost and thought this was about why World War II happened? No, he's just explaining why the borders are where they are, because his point is, I disagree with that and want this territory. And Tucker was saying, of course, as in, I know that, yeah, I'm following your history course, buddy. And then he asked the question, well, why didn't you just do this a long time ago then? So you're just completely off base. You didn't watch the interview. You didn't watch the fucking interview. Yeah, you're talking about it to millions of people. Like you watched some 5-second clip or whatever, put your tie on and started making weird faces because your audience doesn't really have the highest standards for comedy. And you're talking about how Tucker's bad at his job. Well, I could see why you quit your job now. Look, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Just look at this shit right here.
Russia is famous for its bread, which is one thing I can assess pretty well. And look at that. It's fresh, too. Look at that. Oh, come on.
The guy really likes bread.
Yeah, isn't it awkward how the longer he sits there staring awkwardly before coming up with some lazy joke, like let's say a curse word and that's the joke, the more people started laughing at his mere existence because yeah, that's pretty much all he was doing. Yeah, that's the comedy they're into. Well, okay.
The guy really likes bread. I hate to think what would have happened if he had found a bagel.
But yeah, he just keeps making more weird faces, and that's the bulk of the joke. Man, this guy really likes bread, because you get it, the guy's willing to put himself out there and do things you seem to cringe at because you feel insecure. You wouldn't do that shit, except if he's willing to be cringed to make you throw a fit, that probably makes him a better comedian than you, and he doesn't even describe himself as one, whereas you do.
I want to contrast our questions with some questions you asked John Kerry.
If you want to compare your show to a comedy show, you're more than welcome to. When you're sitting there interviewing Putin and you don't plan to challenge his utter bullshit, but you don't want to really be that obvious, what do you do with your face? Oh, I see. Okay, so it's not really a straight face as much as you try to convey a mixture of what appears to be shame, arousal, and I'm going to say irregularity. For instance, like you're constipated while jerking off to a Sears catalog.
When you're trying to be funny, but you know you're not funny and you're making fun of someone you know is funnier than you, what do? Well, you just make a face like you're constipated because, well, what else have you been doing your whole show? You might as well keep at it, you know? Just stick to the humor you're good at.
We didn't pay any attention to costs as we were just putting in the cart what we would actually eat over a week. And we all came in around $400, about $400. It was $104 US here. And coming to a Russian grocery store, the heart of evil, and seeing what things cost and how people live, it will radicalize you against our leaders. That's how I feel anyway, radicalized.
radicalized. And it will radicalize you unless you understand basic economics. See, $104 for groceries sounds like a great bargain unless you realize Russians earn less than $200 a week. But that's the kind of context that what did you call yourself earlier? A journalist would have provided. But here's the reality. You know all this because you aren't as dumb as your face would have us believe.
Wait, is that real? If that is a decent point, but that doesn't make him dumb. That means he's from America, in case you didn't realize. I know you're not a journalist, so not being stupid isn't your job. Like, you don't even have the excuse that you don't know where he's from, and you guessed he knew because he lives over there. Did anyone in your audience know that, or are we all morons? Yeah, he was doing a vlog. You see that other clip that you extracted from his vacation trip? That's the journalism you're referring to right now. Is he giving a political analysis on something? Or is he going around visiting, just venting his thoughts as he goes, which tend to be of political nature because his job is politics? Yeah, he went over there to talk to Putin, not study his economy. Nevertheless, sure, he should have fact-checked it after before releasing that, because yeah, if that's true, he does look pretty lame saying that. I remember the last time I fact-checked my vlog, when I was posting like 5 vlogs a day, like he is now. Yeah, I was fact-checking that shit. Jon Stewart, like his second show back after, 10 years I heard? Did he bother fact-checking his clip that he just brought up about how Putin said Poland did World War II? Yeah, that's what I thought. Isn't it great to be in the same exact field talking about the same topics as some other guy who's just better than you? Except while you both do the same thing, talk about politics to an audience you're trying to make your case to, aka banging journalism. Except the other guy owns the title, and you just own the title of I'm funny, so you get to pull some clip of Tucker getting something wrong in a vlog after getting what he said wrong yourself like 3 minutes earlier, because not lying isn't your job. Your job is I'm funny. Then you get to say he failed at his job because you want to talk, and if anyone ever brings up one of your clips, you could just say they never debunked your funny title because humor is subjective. Like you get the moral high ground for just not taking responsibility for shit you get wrong, and if someone else is doing that, they're just sucking up the power is what they're doing. Yeah, this sounds sorta convenient, but your audience is eating that shit up, so fucking why not? Why did you even leave? It's not like this shit's hard. Were you just tired of being a moron?
Why is Tucker doing this? Here's why. It's because the old civilizational battle was communism versus capitalism. That's what drove the world since World War II. Russia was the enemy then. But now they think the battle is woke versus unwoke. And in that fight, Putin is an ally to the right.
Yeah, could we get the clip of Tucker saying he hates the word woke because it's dumb and he's right?
Oh, it's woke! I hate the woke crap. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, so what's your excuse now? Did you do your research? Yeah, well, thank God you don't call yourself a journalist. You call yourself a comedian, which, again, bro, your credentials are nowhere near his. He doesn't even claim that title. You're embarrassing yourself for a 3rd round. Is pretty much all you're doing here. Well, thanks for doing that for us.
Jon Stewart was famous once. He had a TV show over at Comedy Central. It was never that amusing. It was never that highly rated, but it was much lauded by the rest of the media. They loved Joe. But then, right around the end of the Obama administration, Jon Stewart kind of disappeared, and you didn't hear anything from him. Well, he has resurfaced. He showed up in Washington, D.C. the other day, looking like a guy who lives in the men's room at your public library, kind of eating imaginary insects out of the air. That's Jon Stewart. The famous Jon Stewart looks like a homeless mental patient. He's shrieking and disheveled and very short, really short, too short to date. Was he always that short?